Biden thanks his fellow teachers. Should be good. Roll it, G.
Secretary Cardona,
oh boy.
Thank you. And I want to thank Jill.
He's off and running.
She's so good. Teaching is not what Jill does. It's who she is. And so when we got elected to the presidency, and as vice president as well, I suggested, and she agreed fully, that she should continue to teach. And people said, what? And, I'm very, very supportive of teachers for a number of reasons. Some of them are personal, but if I didn't support teachers, I'd be sleeping alone in one of these bedrooms up here. My mother would say, look at me, Joey. Look at me.
Look at me.
You're smarter than anybody. You're this, you're that. So stop.
She
You can
lied
do
to you.
this. The guy who wrote the King's Speech found the original speech and made a copy of it and sent it to me. No, I mean, from the movie.
Not a joke.
And he does his speeches exactly like I did, which a nun taught me. If you took a look at my speech, you'll see there's
Unrecognizable.
all these
English?
slash marks in the speech. Because, an awful lot of people who are, I can't sing worth a damn, but the people, entertainers and singers, can sing like a nightingale, but can't
What is he talking
talk.
about?
What?
Can't speak. I remember I was talking on the way over. My staff's going, why aren't you giving the speech we wrote? And we were talking about on the way over what got me involved in politics. I got involved in politics because
I didn't want to work.
I think the greatest sin that anyone can commit is the abuse of power. When someone who is relying on you or you cannot, just the abuse of power.
This guy.
And I got involved because my state was the only state in the Union when Dr. King was murdered.
Oh, here we go.
That was occupied by the National Guard for 10 months with drawn bayonets in every corner.
And he was
Because
out
my
there
state is the
fighting.
8th largest black population in America as a percent of population. And one day after being asked to see if I could help recruit someone to run for the United States Senate against a very popular Republican senator, a group of senators, a former senator, a former
It's like a
congressman,
trip to an
two
old
former
age home.
governors came to me and said, we want you to run.
How you doing,
Just like the
Papa?
nun would tell me, Joey,
Sleeping over there.
Joey, you can do this. You're going to think about 20 years from now, how did you end up standing on
want
the
people
podium in
listening
the
to
White
this.
House? I wonder how I got here. I got here because of, I was an adjunct professor in law school for
Oh, here
years,
we go.
teaching
Oh,
advanced
adjunct professor. Where's that
separation
thing?
of powers. And by the way, when I left the vice presidency, I had a chance to do a number of things, but I became a professor at the University of Pennsylvania. And presidential politics.
For 4 years.
And I enjoyed it, but it's hard. That's the other thing people don't realize. It's hard how much you prepare. I would prepare, Joe will
to do
tell you,
work?
3 to 4 hours before every class. And it was what not only
anybody
I
with video
taught,
evidence
but
of
what I
this?
did as chairman of the Judiciary Committee. I taught about separation of powers. It was what I did my whole life. And it took me all that time. But the point is, it really mattered. We're in competition for leading the 21st century. Not a joke.
I'm joking.
That's what,
you
that's
are
where
a
we
joke.
are right now.
You are a joke.
Parenthetically, if you think about it, what was the reason why we led the world beginning around 1905, 6, and 7, and 8? Things are moving too rapidly. They're changing exponentially. So we have to build a 21st century. This year, my administration helped over 150 public servants, including teachers, get 150,000, get school forgiveness loans for college loans. The last team kind of messed it up. We've cleared it up. No, but I really mean it.
I mean it.
Because anyway, well, I'm going to just go to that website.
I don't want to tell you about it because I
If
don't
in
know what I'm
fact-
talking about.
You have kids go to school at 3 years old, and 4 years old, and 5 years old. You increase exponentially by 57%. The
Exponential.
likelihood they will make it no matter what their background, all the way through 12 years of school and probably beyond. Today, there are too many politicians trying to score political points, trying to ban books. even math books. I mean, did you ever think, even your younger teachers, did you ever think when you'd be teaching, you'd be worrying about book burnings and banning books? All because it doesn't fit somebody's political agenda.
Wow.
That's your
American
party.
teachers have dedicated their lives to teaching our children and lifting them up. We got to stop making the target of the culture wars. That's where this is going, for real. But again, we got to get in the 21st century. We got to move.
Yeah.
I think we've been there for 22 years. How do you
2 decades in, Joe.
how do you speak to
one?
how do you speak to a room full of teachers and sound like you never
Read a book.
never went to school yourself, never got out
When
of
I was a kid, they used
first
to
grade
call me
English?
Red. Why, Joe? Did you have red hair? No, I read a book once.
I mean, I know we say this every time, but man, gee, that was painful.